where the moon lights.
An excellent day for an exorcism.
I'm your number one fan.
Hey up and welcome back to Rate Scary, and this is your latest roundup of horror news. Let's get into it. First up, very exciting news, and that is that we finally have a Final Destination Bloodlines trailer ahead of its release on the 16th of May this year. This trailer gives us great insight into what the film is actually going to be about, with the film centered on the children and grandchildren of a woman who beat death many years ago before the Final Destination original movie. It seems she's been outrunning death for quite some time, but it's finally caught up to her and her family, and it intends to collect the souls that were never supposed to exist. Apparently, this takes us back to the very beginning of Final Destination, and the official synopsis is: plagued by a violent recurring nightmare, college student Stephanie heads back home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all. Now, the other fantastic thing that we got with this brilliant trailer that has me so excited for this film is that we saw the cameo from Tony Todd. This is his final big screen appearance that he managed to make before his unfortunate passing. It made me very sad seeing him in the film, but also very happy that we get to see his recurring character, William Bloodworth, one last time. This is absolutely one of my most anticipated films for this year. I'm so excited. It's only like 6 weeks until this releases. I cannot wait. Are you excited for this one as well? Let me know in the comments. Now for news on a film that was one of my most anticipated, but unfortunately isn't anymore. It seems Saw 11 is officially off the slate for this year. Yeah, Lionsgate has pulled Saw 11 from its release schedule, and of all things, it's put Strangers Chapter 2 in its place, which we will come on to in a second. But Billy the Puppet has posted a quite interesting post on his socials, and that is that the game is never over. So it seems like there is perhaps some hope for the Saw franchise. Rumours is that Lionsgate will sell this off to another company, most likely Blumhouse, like they did with the Halloween franchise. I really hope that doesn't happen because my feelings on Blumhouse are quite clear. But I would love to see what another company does with this franchise, maybe brings it to life in a different way. Tobin Bell as John Kramer has been doing these films for 20 years now, and I think he's probably ready to hang up his boots and his pig mask and his various different torture devices. So maybe it's time for someone else to take over. So Strangers Chapter 2. Strangers Chapter 1 saw a couple that broke down in an eerie small town, and they were forced to spend the night in a remote cabin. They were then completely terrorized by 3 masked strangers who showed no mercy and seemingly no motive. And this film was absolute dog crap. And unfortunately, we are getting 3 of these films, so I can only hope that the following 2 will be a little bit better than the first one. Apparently, Strangers Chapter 2 is going to continue the story of Madeleine Petsch's character, Maya, who survived the events of Strangers Chapter 1. And we've been given some reassurance that this isn't a repeat of the first chapter or the original story. Producer Courtney Solomon has said it's an evolution, both from the point of view of the protagonist and actually being there. If this really happened to you, we go beat by painful beat. That's the horror. And a little glimpse further into who's behind the mask without them ever giving a speech or us coming up with some dumb explanation. I swear to God, if they have taken the slot of Saw 11, then this film had better be good. I'm not excited for it in the slightest. My expectations are very low. I, of course, will go and see it and see what it's all about because I would love it to be a fantastic Strangers film. I'm just not holding my breath. Now for some news that I'm quite curious about, and that's that we finally have a Mrs. Voorhees for the upcoming Crystal Lake series coming from A24. And the person who's going to be playing the iconic Pamela Voorhees is Linda Cardellini. Now, you might know Linda from Scooby-Doo. She played Velma. She was also wife of Hawkeye in the Marvel films and in the TV series, and she has also been in Curse of La Llorona. And apparently she's been officially signed on to star in the role of Mrs. Voorhees. And her version is believed to be a mother who has given up a singing career to raise a special needs child and takes a dark turn when she loses her son. Now, I have a real love of Betsy Palmer as the original Pamela Voorhees. I think she's sinister, she's very mumsy, she's very clumsy, but I think she did a fantastic portrayal, and I have high hopes for Linda Cardellini. I think she could do a fantastic job. I've liked her in pretty much everything that I've seen her in. So watch this space. We'll see if we get any more casting announcements for the TV series. Some very, very happy news and long-awaited news, and that is that Master of Horror John Carpenter is finally being honoured with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame next week, in fact, on the 3rd of April. A press statement has been released saying that few filmmakers have had as galvanising and enduring an impact on cinema as John Carpenter. As director, writer, producer, and composer, Carpenter has brought to the screen some of the most popular and influential films in history. Agree. Starting out with his 1978 breakthrough, a low-budget horror film called Halloween, which shook both moviegoers and the film industry with a force that continues to be felt nearly 50 years later. I think this is wonderful news. And when I read about this, I was surprised actually that John Carpenter didn't already have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. A couple of other people that are getting their stars at the same time is Nightmare on Elm Street icon Robert Englund. Brilliant news. And also Predator actor Bill Duke. Very much looking forward to seeing their stars in Hollywood. And then the final bit of news I have for you is about The Conjuring Last Rites. So it's been 11 years since James Wan's The Conjuring crept its way into theatres, all the way back in July of 2013, and it has created one of the most successful horror franchises of all time. This franchise has been dubbed the Conjuring Universe. It's made up of films like The Nun and Annabelle and, as previously mentioned, La Llorona, but The Conjuring Last Rites is the 4th installment in the Conjuring films. And these films blur real-life investigations of Ed and Lorraine Warren with fictitious horror situations, which have created some stupendously successful films. I, for one, am a fan of the Conjuring films. And it seems other people are as well, because the Conjuring universe has grossed a combined $2.2 billion at the worldwide box office, making it the highest grossing horror franchise ever. Now, this 4th and final installment in the Conjuring franchise is directed by Michael Chavez, and it features Ed and Lorraine Warren as they take on one last terrifying case involving mysterious entities. And apparently this is a direct sequel to The Conjuring: The Devil Made Me Do It, and is scheduled for release on the 5th of September this year, which just so happens to be my birthday. But the thing that I am most excited about with this is apparently the final 30 minutes of the film is going to be a tribute to The Exorcist, my favourite film of all time. And apparently one scene is expected to outdo the iconic spider walk. It's going to take some doing. I look forward to see if they can do it. Watch this space. So that is it for this week's horror news. Let me know in the comments if you've seen anything that maybe I haven't picked up on. Otherwise, see you with you then. I'll see you soon.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
I'll be right back.
Game over. It's all for you.
Beware the moonlights.
An excellent day for an exorcism.
I'm your number 1 fan.